Hello YouTubers and welcome to a new video of Arepas for Dinner. So for today's video I bring you something that I used to do about a year ago that were What's for Dinners. So What's for Dinners were these videos where I cooked at home, whatever I usually cook for my husband and I film it and I edit it and I publish for you guys to imitate those recipes. I usually try to tailor the ingredients so you can find them here in Czech Republic. That's it. Usually in my channel I do videos about the Czech Republic and my life here, so if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe to my channel. As well, if you're gonna make any of these recipes, please send me a photo, or if you publish a photo, tag me on Instagram. Here is my Instagram, because I love to see when you guys try my recipes and I'm super excited for these recipes. They turn out so good, they were all so delicious. So that's it, let's start with the video. Chicken Parmigiana. You will need mozzarella cheese, breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, tomato pasta sauce, 2 chicken breasts, 1 egg, and pasta. First of all, preheat your oven to 200 degrees. Then, add your breadcrumbs to a plate. And mix some Parmesan cheese on it. This is the key for the best flavor. As well, mix some oregano on it. If you have powdered oregano, that's good as well. I just had this one. But this is my husband's, one of his favorite recipes. It's a very American recipe, so I didn't grow up eating this, but it's really good. Crack your egg. And now we are just gonna bread our chicken, putting it first in egg and then in the breadcrumbs, cheese mixture that we created. I was trying to press the most amount possible of breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese to my chicken so it would be as good as possible, but you probably want to do this like individually. Don't do it like I did. I did a mess, but you know, sometimes cooking will be messy. Now add 2 spoons of butter, that's like 1.5 spoon of butter, and a little bit of olive oil to your pan, and you are gonna sear your chickens. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't cook all the way through because we're gonna bake them later, so it doesn't matter. Sear them in both sides. Now let's transfer them to an oven pan, and we are gonna scoop some of the tomato pasta sauce on top of each. You can use about half the jar, that would be enough. Make sure to cover the entire chicken. And then I'm adding here the mozzarella cheese. This one was frozen, but you can use any type of mozzarella cheese you have. I just buy mine Macro by the bulk, so I usually have tons of frozen mozzarella cheese in my freezer. And as well, you want to pop a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top, just because of that extra Parmesan flavor that is so delicious. Now you have to bake them. I think I baked them for about 15 minutes or whatever time it took the pasta to be done. Now drain your pasta, and you want to add the remaining pasta sauce that you didn't use for the chicken, so half the jar. And as well, I ended up adding some Parmesan cheese to the pasta directly there on the pot to make it super cheesy and super delicious. Now take your chicken out of the oven, and you only need now to serve it. This was, I think, my husband's favorite meal of the week for sure. It's so flavorful, and it literally It's just a very different way to eat chicken. I really enjoy it, and we eat these around like once every couple of months. It's very, very good. Enjoy! Pan de jamon or ham bread. You will need pizza dough, olives, 300 grams of ham, raisins, sugar, 1 egg. First, I'm taking some aluminum foil and I'm spraying it with some cooking oil, and I'm taking this pizza dough and unrolling it. This pizza dough was rounded. I remember in US it used to be square, and here some brands are rectangular as well, but I couldn't find, so I just took this one that was rounded and I just stretched it until it had the shape that I wanted. If you didn't know, pan de jamon is actually a Venezuelan recipe that we eat during Christmas times. Actually, from October we start eating pan de jamon, so it's the perfect time of the year to bake it, really, and everybody likes it. I got these 2 different types of ham. I don't know why I bought different types of ham, it doesn't really matter. And I used a total of 300 grams, but I think I could have used 400 grams. So if you want to add more ham, that's fine. At the end, I just added 2 or 3 extra slices that I had in the fridge just for some areas that were lacking. Now we're gonna add the raisins, and the raisins are super important because it's the part that gives the sweetness to the bread. And since this is a kind of sweet and salty bread, just don't put little amount, put a lot of raisins like I did. Then for the olives, it's best to put them like this in a line that is just in the same direction that you're gonna roll your bread. I usually put 2 lines because for me, pan de jamon, the most important parts of pan de jamon are raisins and olives, so that's why I put 2 rows, but you can put only 1 row if you want. Then you can start rolling it as this and just keep doing it all the way until the end. Pan de jamon always reminds me of my uncle Angel because he really loves pan de jamon, and he always buys one for us because my grandma used to bake it. Even though she was Spanish from Spain, she used to bake this traditional Venezuelan dish. Okay, now that we have closed it, even the borders and everything, we are gonna crack 1 egg, and this is gonna be a sweet egg wash. So we're gonna put as well some white sugar, and we're gonna mix that very well and put it all over the top of the bread. This is gonna help because pizza dough doesn't have any sweetness to it, and this bread is a tad sweet, but I don't wanna make the dough, and these recipes are supposed to be super simple, so what is more simple than using pre-made dough? Make sure to put as much as possible to ensure that it gets a little bit sweeter in the outside. Now I'm gonna put it in my oven rack that I just previously put outside, and we're gonna bake these for 200 degrees Celsius for I think 35 minutes I believe I baked it for, until it looks like this, more or less. And you're supposed to wait half an hour before cutting it. That's what's gonna make the bread ideal, but I really wanted to cut it to show you guys, so it was a little bit too juicy at the beginning, but it was amazing. My husband loves this type of bread as well as my parents-in-law, so I really recommend it. Loaded chicken soup. You will need 2 potatoes, 600 milliliters of chicken stock, 200 milliliters of heavy cream, 2 chicken breasts, spinach, Parmesan cheese, bacon, and cornstarch. So this soup is supposed to be very hearty, so it's perfect to eat it by itself, and it's a full meal by itself. So I'm using this chicken stock that I previously cooked, but you can use the cubes, the stock cubes that they sell, or just the gallina blanca stocks that they come in Tetra Pak. You can use any of that. I'm adding right now my chicken as well, and I'm gonna leave that to defrost together. Now I'm gonna do my bacon, and this is how I love to do my bacon. I just put it in between 2 sheets of paper, and I put it in the microwave for 1 minute at a time. I think this time I did it for 3 minutes, and then I had the bacon as I liked it. Now my chicken is cooked, so I'm taking it out and I'm cutting it into little cube. I'm dicing it. You can shred it as well if you want, but I really enjoy my chicken in the same shape more or less than my potatoes, so I'd rather cube it than shred it, but whatever works best for you. I think this recipe was my favorite. It was so hearty, so delicious, so fulfilling, and especially so warming that is so important this time of the year. Put the chicken back into the soup, and now we're gonna dice our potatoes. I figured out that I actually like potatoes to be diced very small. I never tried that before, but ever since I did, I'm loving it. So from now on, I think I'm gonna always cut my potatoes into very small size. Now we're gonna add the cream, and to the cream we're adding this. This is cornstarch that we wanna mix to make the soup more creamy or more thick. The cream is of course cold. Now we're adding it to the soup, and now we're adding the spinach. But after all, I needed to add more of that cornstarch because it wasn't as thick as I wanted. So I just put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch again into cold water, and that made a huge difference. So you can put 3 spoons of cornstarch. That would be better than just the one that I put at the beginning. So cook it all together and make sure it boils. It needs to boil for the cornstarch to thicken. That's how it works. Now I'm adding some Parmesan cheese that I had remaining. This is completely optional, but I literally had half of this in the fridge and I didn't have anything to eat it with. So I was like, why not? And it actually brought so much flavor to the soup. So I would highly recommend it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Now you just have to serve it, and now you're gonna see what we're gonna use the bacon for. Now we're just gonna crumble the bacon on top of the soup. And one little advice, make sure that you're testing for salt, because my stock was not that salty, so I had to add salt after. So keep tasting for salt all the way through. Enjoy! And for our final recipe, I am bringing you a dessert. These ones are honey walnut cookies. And for it, you will need 1 1/4 cup of flour. You can use any cup. When I say cup, I mean measuring cup, but it doesn't have to be a measuring cup. Any cup will do. 1 1/4 cup of flour, half a cup of butter, that is literally half a stick of the Czech normal big butter sticks, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a cup of honey, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 bag of vanilla powder or 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 cup of nuts and chocolate chips. In this case, I'm using butterscotch ones. You'll see. So these butterscotch ones, I found them in the candy store of Prague. You can find them there. That store literally carries so many interesting things, so you can check it out. Now I'm adding a teaspoon of baking soda to my flour and some vanilla as well. Those are all my dry ingredients. Now I had to heat up my butter because I forgot that it had to be liquid, but yeah. So I'm adding that, the sugar, and now the honey. For the honey, I added a little bit of oil before to the cup because that way the honey pours out easier from the cup and you don't have to waste any honey, which is perfect. Okay, what we're gonna do now is to cream those ingredients together. Now I started to crack the nuts because I completely forgot. And if you haven't watched my channel before, I actually went picking up these nuts with my husband about 2 weeks ago. So you should check out that video. I'm gonna link it in the end of this video so you can check it out. So yeah, those are hand-picked walnuts. So you wanna add about 1 cup of walnuts. You wanna add 1 cup of walnuts and chocolate chips or butterscotch chips in this case. So half and half would be perfect. Now let's start adding the dry ingredients to my dough. First half and then the second half of the flour and baking powder and vanilla mixture. And that I'm gonna mix it with the hand mixture. But after that, I'm just gonna add all the extra pieces, and I'm just gonna mix it with a wooden spoon. It's way easier than with the mixer. Trust me, I tried. Now in a baking sheet, just add some baking paper or wax paper and start scooping your cookies into the tray. Leave enough space because they do grow in the oven. So make sure you don't put them too near together, and the balls don't have to be perfect because as you're gonna see now, they actually turn round by themselves. You don't have to do anything. So when they come out of the oven, they're quite soft. So wait about 5 minutes until they are a little bit more manageable, and then transfer them to a cooling rack. Once they are completely cooled down, you're gonna realize they become crunchy. These cookies are one of the best cookies I've ever had in my life. And I do think that the butterscotch chips, because it's not chocolate, it's butterscotch chips, made a difference. So go check that out in the candy store. Enjoy! So that was it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and to give this video a big thumbs up. Also remember that I publish every Tuesday. I just published today's Friday because last Tuesday I made that video that was only possible to watch in Czech Republic because it was about Czech films that are only available in Netflix Czech Republic. So I wanted to put a second video for all of you that couldn't watch those films, but usually I publish on Tuesday, so stay tuned for that, and new nice videos are coming our way. And that's it. Share, like, share it with your friends, try the recipes, and let me know if you like them. Have a great day. Bye.